Good morning, people. Welcome back to We Are the South Stand. Apologies, firstly, no show yesterday. To be completely honest with you, I just did not want to force the show. It was absolutely, you know what, we could have done another show which gets taken over with Pep out and the uncles must go. And what else is there that we talk about? We need Rodrigo. And then, you know, me and Pat and saying, no, bear with Pep. No, we don't need a winger. No, the uncles aren't bad as long as there's only one of them. But I thought we'll have a break from that. But we're back today to run the agendas. Devious, shout out to you in there. I see you, the leader of the pack with the agenda. Listen, at least he's consistent. And you know what? That was a class way to start. Oasis are back officially. First official date completed yesterday. I always think it's interesting where people start, and they decided to start in sunny Cardiff, which, you know, a lot of Manx were at because they couldn't get tickets in Manchester, so they just drove down to Cardiff instead. But no, quality touch that to dedicate Live Forever to Diogo Jota. Thoughts still with Diogo Jota and his family. Seeing some of the players and the players' tributes has been quite touching. Some of the things, I can't lie, the Trent one today touched me a little bit. Well, it wasn't today, but I only saw the Trent one today. And yeah, touching. But thoughts with them. But how are you guys? Firstly, it's Saturday morning, not as sunny as usual here, but do you know, it's quite nice for the sun to be away for a little bit. But how are you?
Good. Yeah, I mean, woke up this morning to see the whole bunch of clips online of Oasis's glorious return after 16 years. And, you know, whether I had a ticket or not, it's great to see. But knowing that I'll be able to see them in Manchester in about 2 weeks' time, I cannot wait. Been absolutely buzzing. Like,
well, and I'm here.
The highlight for me was the touch with Jota with Live Forever was brilliant. But then, you know, and people say City don't have an influence, and yet you've got the entire Millennium Stadium doing the Poznan when they started playing Rock and Roll Star.
Yeah.
That was absolutely brilliant. I loved every minute of that. Yeah.
Sorry, the graphics changed. Apologies. That was one I made in a rush the other day. I've just changed it over. So don't worry, people. Yeah, do you know what? So you're there thinking, yes, I've got a ticket. I can't wait. Whereas I'm here going, because when the tickets came out and everyone was panicking, I was like, I can't be bothered waiting in a queue to be let down. Now I'm here going, shit, I haven't got a ticket.
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes you make a choice about something and then, like, you wonder, like, if hindsight's a good thing, but then you're like, you struck gold with it. Well, I certainly did that. Well, me and my mate certainly did that when we were looking at booking the tickets, because not only did we get tickets, like, first swipe, but we also got, like, the cheapest ones, 150 quid ones. And then to know that only a few months later, they released the dates for Sydney or for Australia, and the cheapest tickets we could find were still 50 to 60 quid more than what we paid for the Manchester tickets.
Oh, touch. And the Manchester one's
I couldn't have been happier about that. Could not have been happier.
The Manchester one's going to be special. I mean, it's a shame it's not the Etihad.
Which they're meant to be doing next year, mate.
I've heard. Yes, I've heard. It was not shown to me. I only heard. But yes, I am waiting for that. Patrick, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. I mean, I'm enjoying the sun today. since I moved to Galway, it's been rainy. So today is the day where there's a bit of sun, so it's more exciting.
Nice. Here's not so sunny, but we
are you in that 2-week window in July right now where it is officially your summer?
Yeah, I think so. But this is Ireland. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't care.
Ireland's true summer is about a 2-week gap in July.
Nah, it's horrible, man. I'm telling you, it's horrible. Like at least in Dublin, I was looking at a bit of a sun. In Galway, it's just you wake up in the morning and you're like, is that the rain hitting the windows? They're like, when does it ever not rain? So they're like, welcome to the other part of Ireland where we're next to the water more here. So it just rains the whole time. So basically here, people move with the raincoats in their bags this side of Ireland. They always have a raincoat in the back regardless,
Well, if it was enough for my ancestors to pack up and move to an uncolonized country on the other side, the nation on the other side of the world, I don't know how I would survive there. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not the best, to be honest with you. It's not the best. Yeah, but overall it's been great. It's been a great morning, and obviously I saw Dab's message early in the morning, half asleep. Then I woke up and said, let me respond to this man. I was like, I was more intrigued to see what you had to talk about, because there's not really much. But I was like, let me see what this man has.
There's more than yesterday. What I do is every morning. Well, actually, I woke up this morning and I watched. I've watched about 5 episodes of The Bear. Either of you two watched The Bear yet?
No.
Yeah, I have, but I stopped watching it.
You stopped watching it? Were you not into it?
I was. Then I was like, I don't really want to invest in. It's not bad. It's not a bad.
No, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Honestly, it's just it's about life. It is about life and the struggles of life and how finding a purpose in life is everything. It's brilliant. I don't want to break it, but anyone, the episodes are only 30 minutes long, apart from every now and again there's an hour-long one. But I would recommend you go and watch The Bear. It's absolutely quality, and the growth of Mikey in it is brilliant. But and then I thought, right, let me check Manchester City news now to get all my latest tastes of Manchester City, and let's look at them in order. Firstly, I think this one's pretty easy to get out of the way. Kyle Walker to Burnley, 5 million. Anyone got any opinions on that?
I am happy for him. I think it's a good thing, and since what's his name? Since Martin got me the Kyle Walker signed jersey last season, I have a stipulation now to be nice.
Oh, which Martin?
Martin as in McKinnon way.
Okay, noted.
So he gave me a stipulation to be nice, but yet Martin himself sometimes comes on my channel and not be nice towards Kyle Walker. I was like,
no, that's fine. Yeah. So if I'm ever, if I ever fancy getting a player's top signed, I just have to be horrible about him, and Martin will get me it. Okay, noted.
Yeah, it looks like apparently Martin's first choice was Jack Grealish, but
we're working on getting Alan a Nuno shirt.
Okay, perfect. And let me just pick one here. What do I really, really want? I really want a... You know what? I really, really want a Bernardo Silva shirt. So do you know what? I'm going to join the Agenda Merchants. But get Bernardo Silva out of my club right now. Get Bernardo Silva, that uncle, out of my club.
Nah, you're going far.
But what does he offer going forward now? All he does is pass sideways. Get that uncle, slowest player in the league. Slowest player in the league. I can't stand him. Get him out of my club.
You're going far, Dab, because they will cut you as you have to balance it. You have to say, I don't really do things like this. I don't really do things like this. But that Bernardo Silva is not doing well at this moment in time. But I don't do things like this. No, the Jack Grealish one was going to be funny. No, but I never had beef with Jack Grealish. I actually started supporting him, and people say hating him when I say supporting him.
Yeah. I know. I've worked you out on Grealish. Yours now very much is play Grealish in his right position. Play Grealish.
I'm still hurting. Every time I see him post on Instagram, I'm like, look, low-key, I get it. You are a man. You obviously choose a job. But low-key, I say, I know what happened to this fella. I know when it's done, there's gonna be more negative, but I know I can see from his face he's like, I just want to go play football. And now he says he wants to go back to Aston Villa, so big up to him.
Right. So yeah, on Kyle Walker, I think it's now. Do you know what I'd actually say here on Kyle Walker? we all wish Kyle the best of luck. Now, it's moving on. And deep down, I think one thing that maybe for those that didn't appreciate him enough, or for those that didn't appreciate him at all, at the moment, we're probably seeing how important a prime Kyle Walker was to this Manchester City and everything they achieved, right? Brought the best out of our defence, was our defence's insurance. For me, he offered, I'll always say going forward, he's a scrambler. His pace running at defenders used to scramble them. And the captain, maybe not, that wasn't his greatest moment at City. Yeah. But you know what? Maybe his speech before the Champions League, when he said, listen, guys, I might not be playing, but last time we were in one of these, I didn't win it. You boys go out there and win it for me. Bring me back that Champions League medal. We've got to thank him for everything he brought to the club. And he's not going too far. He's going to Burnley. And do you know what? We're getting 5 million for him. 5 million for Kyle Walker. We can't turn our nose up at, right? At this point.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for this. And I think Pat might agree with me on this. Do you know how in football, right? Somebody who's a fullback, but somebody who's got the physicality of Kyle Walker. And you've also seen it in the English team where Southgate tried to make him a centre-back. And I think that was always my dream, that maybe Pep Guardiola, when Kyle Walker loses his pace, you make him a centre-back. But obviously, we play with the high line still. Do you know what's going to happen? I have a suspicion he goes to Burnley where they don't have to have a high line. Now Kyle Walker doesn't have to do that pace a lot where he has to bump. Yeah. He can bump up and down, but it's more easier.
Guess what? We can run the whole show from back there,
Yeah, you know what? Months later, just wait and people will say, you made a mistake. You made a mistake.
Hold on. Yeah. Are you two trying to say that you think Kyle Walker can run the whole show?
Yeah.
Come on, lads. Listen, come on. That's never been his...
as far as we know.
I think his speed is still better than majority of certain people.
Any fans out there, please excuse our ignorance, but yeah.
And listen, Burnley High Street, Friday night. Get ready for Kyle Walker. Ladies of Burnley, get ready for Kyle Walker. He's going to be doing...
I will defend Nights Out of Burnley a little bit because I did an away day at Turf Moor in the Centurion season. I think you remember the game. I think we drew 1-1. Danilo scored a banger from outside the 18 yard.
Yeah, it was the first game of the season, wasn't it?
No. This was like January. I think this might have been January. Like half. It was past halfway through the Centurion season.
Centurion. Sorry, I'm thinking.
Danilo scored a belter from like 25 yards out from like the left wing. Raheem Sterling scored, missed an absolute tap in. And Goodmanson or something scored a late equaliser for him. But we ended up finding this amazing gin bar, and I think we stayed there until they eventually kicked us out at about 1 a.m. But if I ever find out the name of that place again, I'll post it because it was awesome. Yeah, it was the only highlight of the day.
Well, listen, Kyle Walker can make a good night in any town. So shout out to Burnley.
But if I see him in the news again, I'll be like, Walker, come on. All right.
No. Listen, if you Jesus Christ,
it goes to Burnley and Kyle Walker has another woman pregnant. I'll be like, Walker.
But Bo, would you really?
Personal things sorted out if he's only moving up to Burnley.
He's back with his other half.
Yeah. Because I think if it wasn't sorted out at home, he would have been looking abroad for sure.
To be honest with you, the whole speed of it all, I personally think that was because if you think about it, I think news came out that Walker was apparently she was going to take Walker to court and that she wanted a divorce. And then all of a sudden, and I know he was getting slander, but then literally from that point, he said, I'm not playing I can't play anymore. I need to move now. And I think it was one of those, as a gentleman that's been in the doghouse before, sometimes you just have to say, look, let's get away and start again, right? And I think that was a case of let's get away and start again. But anyway, so shout out to Kyle Walker. Off he goes. Right, let's next tackle the Nico Gonzalez thing. Now, just so both of you and anyone else know and don't think that Daps is just trying to run an absolute agenda here. And by the way, I'll let you lot decide on if you trust the outlet, if you don't trust the outlet. But where is it?
I only just read it half an hour before we came on, so please tell me.
So, I mean, yeah, there's one. Man City already won. Big Nico Gonzalez already had one big Nico Gonzalez concern before City signed him. But bear with me. There was one in particular that I read. Where has it gone? Where has it gone? Do you know what? I might have just updated. Do you know what? It's disappeared. All of them have disappeared.
Because it's absolute BS.
Maybe they have been. Oh, no. Surely they can't have been removed.
I mean, they can remove it depending on if the club responds to it. You never know.
There was, do you know what? Early on,
it sounded like crap daps. I mean, honestly, like it must be a slow news week. I mean, when you think about it, like to create a story like that, it's not a difficult sort of algorithm when you think about it. You go, okay, what players played the least minutes in the Club World Cup? X player, X player, X player. Okay, let's put a story out there, to try and create something in the market.
Yeah, so.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Darren Looney is reported by, who reports from Manchester City News, that City could be open to letting Nico depart the club this summer. Furthermore, Looney reports that intermediaries have contacted clubs from across Europe and Saudi Arabia to gauge potential interest in the Spanish midfielder. Lastly, Darren Looney reports that the summer arrival of Tijani Reinders may limit the opportunities for Nico to play regularly for City this season. There we go. So when people say esteemed companies the source, now Darren Looney is actually the source. Let me just quickly Google this geezer. Sounds like a loony, right?
Yeah, all in name. Nah, just makes no sense.
Player's
been here for 6 months.
It makes no sense to me as well.
They're talking about because of Rangers coming in. It's like, no, that's what's called help. That's what healthy competition's for.
Right.
And if anything's got substance to it, it's Gundo on the way out.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So Darren Looney, the person that wrote this, yeah? So he writes for Caught Offside, but currently he is writing for Rousing the Cop. The source of this is writing for Liverpool.
Yeah. He's trying to steer the port, trying to cause issues. Yeah.
Not happy with that one at all.
Yeah.
You see, that's why when I saw it yesterday or the other day when somebody was posting it.
It's creating a story. It's creating a story.
Writing for...
Creating. That's all it is.
I can't believe he actually writes for Flippy. He writes for fucking a Liverpool outlet.
Writes for Rousing the Cop while trying to rouse other fan bases. Yeah, right. Well done.
But let's... But let's just talk on it quickly. When you say the incoming of Reinders, you could say the fact that Reinders was played in the six once or twice during the Club World Cup is a bit of a concern.
It is.
If you're Nico Gonzalez, you are sat there thinking, hold on a second. I thought I was brought in as Rodri backup. I thought that Tijani Reinders was being brought in to maybe be a Bernardo Gundogan, maybe more of a Gundogan replacement. But now you're playing your Gundogan replacement in the Rodri role. Guys, hello. Woo! Woo! I'm here. La, 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 la. So it is a bit... If I'm Nico, I am maybe... I mean, this is where sometimes a bit of comms from the club would be good. If they were to come out and... if someone, leaked a statement just saying the reason why we haven't seen much of Nico Gonzalez yet, that would help us to understand it. Let us know.
Did you see his face though? Did you see his face? And the thing, when Pep was pointed at if you look at the Hilal game, did you see his face? He had the jersey like this, and he was on the seat like this, and they showed him for a while, and people were being pointed to warm up, and Nico Gonzalez had this face like like a face like, oh, okay.
What's the point in me warming up?
Yeah, no, but in all fairness, look, in this tournament, I felt sorry for two players. I've said it. I felt sorry for Oscar Bobb because he got 10 minutes and scored a goal. Then I felt sorry for Nico Gonzalez and I felt sorry for Khusanov. Because they seem to be players who I was like, we're gonna remember what was the promise by some people. There was a fan base, part of the fan base saying we're gonna see all these guys in the Club World Cup. And then there was the same people who were saying we're going to see the same people in the Club World Cup. They're like, oh, by the way, this is not a serious tournament, so we can't take it seriously. We didn't want to win it. So if we didn't want to win it, why were they playing the experienced players? Somebody tells me again, oh, we're not going to have a preseason because this was our preseason. Yet we did not see the players that are supposed to be seen. Because, for instance, let me be honest, if the club never wanted to win this, why is he playing very experienced players? He could have just played all the kids. I'm just disappointed that I think Oscar Bobb, Nico Gonzalez, and Khusanov, I think they should have just played them because I know what Dias offers. Dias played so much already in Portugal. I know what Bernardo Silva and Gundogan offer. I really didn't want to see Gundogan, Bernardo Silva offer. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just like the other players I have seen what they offer. So why didn't we just see the new players? But that's why I deep down in my head, I say, maybe Pep wanted to win this. Then the only way he was like, I can't really play most of these newcomers. Maybe I should play the experience. They'll get me through. And then somebody wrote me a text to throw in my face saying, you guys, how dare you guys fail even with an experienced player while a Chelsea team that looks trash is fumbling through to the semi-final. I don't know, man. I have so many questions.
So
but
someone
the
said,
one,
hold on, sorry, shout to MCFC who's saying Daps Graham Bailey has also said it, but hold on, Graham Bailey.
He's not reliable.
Hold on, let me check Graham Bailey.
Pat, can I ask you something? Because I don't believe the Nico Gonzalez thing, but I highly doubted that he would be sent out. Even right now, been sent out on loan because right now Rodri is already injured. And do they really trust Rodri to go on? I don't think so.
It makes no sense to me. I mean, just goes against everything the club would do in terms of sending a player out when you just signed him 6 months prior. It's just silly. It's silly for any club, no matter what their status is at the club or anything like that, or where they are in the pecking order or anything really. And we know for a fact that I think it's safe to say that either Gundogan or Kovacic are on their way out probably in the next month or two. I think it's just about done anyway. So you don't really want to be risking your depth in midfield by then all of a sudden being forced to keep a 31-year-old midfielder and a 35-year-old midfielder, basically, because you've got this young blood in for a reason. The guy's only 22 as well, and if we're so concerned about Nico G being sent out, then why is the same conversation being put about Victor Hayes or Khusanov? Because they all got signed in January. They're all roughly around the same age, and they all roughly had minimal game time. Mamouche can also be put in that bracket too because he only seemed to get most of his minutes played at home. So we have long-term plans for these guys, and just because the minutes did lack in the second half of last season, certainly doesn't mean that they will lack when next season comes around. And Pep had a certain way that he wanted to play the Club World Cup, and unfortunately it didn't include Nico G for those games, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm not going to lie. I would have, I think we all would have loved to have seen a bit of rotation happen, in all four matches. But I don't see any problems with Nico G at the club at the moment. I'm sure Pep's got big plans for him, and it's one of those things that we'll probably forget about by the time the football start rolling on pitches again in mid-August.
Well, I mean, Pat, just to go. Oh, God, I've realised this is a Patrick show.
Right. They usually call him Pat, and they call me Patrick.
Yeah, I'm usually Pat. He's Patrick because he's in Ireland, so he's more of a saint.
Well, in that case, I'm going to call you Paddy, right? So it's Pat and Paddy, right? So Paddy,
okay, great.
Just what you
Which
said.
Is Paddy me? Who's in Ireland?
You're Paddy, yeah. You live in Ireland, so you're Paddy.
Okay,
so Paddy, for me, I do hear what you're saying because there's and sorry, Martin, if you are here, yes, I'm talking to you. right?
I don't
Martin-
think he's here. You could have seen him in the chat.
Oh, you never know. He will pop up. I'm sure he'll.
Yeah,
pop
he
up.
does pop up. As
He
soon as you
pops
mention
up
his
out-
name, he just
oh,
pops up. Yeah.
It's a weird thing on YouTube, right? That when you mention another content creator, as if by magic, they appear, right? And people always say on shows that you start talking about, you say Man City 3 times and Daps appears in the comments, right?
Martin's like the Joe Hendry of Manchester
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Content
name.
creators.
Yeah.
But I do, and like I was going to say, this to you, Martin, it goes by what you said a bit, Paddy, that he said, Pep wasn't taking it serious. It was just a tournament to him. It was more about the rebuilding of the team spirit.
It's a pre-season thing, yeah.
Pre-season. But if that is the case, okay. If that was a pre-season thing, why did you not try some things out?
Yeah, this is what I told people. I was like, if this is a pre-season thing, then I think majority of the lineup you see Turkey. Majority of the lineup you're gonna see Rangers. Obviously, he's trying to get them. You're gonna see Nico. You're gonna see Khusanov. I was like, he wanted this. He wanted to win this, and the reason why he put experienced players is because he knew these guys have got me over the line, which I don't blame. So that means this was not a preseason. But just out of interest, is there going to be a preseason for City?
So yeah, so it's just been announced, I believe, yesterday that we're going to play. Is it Palmero on? I think the 9th of August.
The CFG team, Palermo.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So we're going to play them on the 9th of August, which is one we're really going to have our eyes on now, because we're going to want to see Khusanov. We're going to want to see. We're going to want to see Nico Gonzalez.
Oscar Bobb. Yeah.
Oscar Bobb, bro. The Oscar Bobb one, I'll be honest with you. Oscar Bobb, right, at his age, getting that injury, we do definitely have to manage his game time right. But we do want to see him. We do want to see him 100%, but we have to manage that right, because the fact that he had...
But I have an answer for you, though. So
Rodri. You're going to say Rodri?
Did we bring Rodri?
Right. The difference, no, but there is a difference. There's 2 clear differences. The first is the fact that Rodri's age, right? When a player has an injury younger, and especially it's their first injury, it's very important you get it right. Even more so when, like with Oscar Bobb, you've got injured, you've got over your injury, and then you've got injured again straight away. You have to take your time with it. So that would be it. But it is valid. It's a valid point, Patrick. But yeah, we are going to be watching that. Just quickly to say to anyone that's saying, I've seen a couple of people in the comments say, "Where's Alan?" Alan's just not on this show today. This is not, Alan is not on every single morning. Thursday was the Manchester City meets Mancunian Way show, and it was Alan's birthday, so he wasn't here. So anyone that's wondering if there's any sort of issue with Alan, no, there is not whatsoever. And I expect to see Alan on, if not tomorrow, then Monday or Tuesday. So everything's cool. And Alan, if you're watching, love, just to make clear to you, I don't know if anyone thinks there's any sort of issue. There's no issue at all.
Wait, why would there be an issue?
Small doses with Alan, people.
I don't know. People just keep asking where Alan is. So I'm just thinking, no, I don't want anyone starting rumors up or anything. It's just,
to be honest, it's the same individual. I've seen it's the same name.
Right, okay. Right.
Maybe it's Alan. Maybe it's Alan on another account.
What are you saying? Alan's got multiple burners.
Yeah. Where's Alan?
It's Alan. Alan is the GOAT. Alan is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. And you know what? I love curry goat, but I don't need curry goat in my life every single day, right? So
Yeah, small doses, people. Small doses.
Look, Gonzalez, for me, I really hope the rumours aren't true. I don't think there will be, because if we get rid of Nico Gonzalez, right, let's be honest, we're all pretty confident Gundogan is going, right? I think we don't. Kovacic at the moment's having to focus on getting back fit. You can't sell a player that can't do a medical. However, I do still think there is a chance that if Kovacic is back fit by end of July, with the Turkish window not closing, I think, till October, I still think there's a chance that Kovacic goes. For that reason, I really can't see us selling Gonzalez, because ultimately, if we sell Gonzalez, then we are definitely having to hit the transfer market for another midfielder, in my eyes.
And he's very talented, isn't it? Very talented player, because
what I've seen.
It's the physicality. I like the way he's got like the big body, like Rodri, tall. Like he brings physicality in that midfield. We'll see, man. As I say, you never know. Pep is a madman. He always has good ideas that we don't know. You never know that this is what he's planning for. It's just that the one that confused me. There's a few things that I've scratched my head, especially, believe it or not, the Rodri one definitely confused me. I was like, he came from the ATL. Why are we making him play? And then maybe I jinxed it by saying I think this guy might get injured.
But Alan also mentioned him getting.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up about getting dubs. Remember last season I said we're gonna suck. This season I'll be quiet. I don't want to jinx. And
I have actually just realised Alan didn't he? This time last week, Alan jinxed him and said, "Imagine if he gets injured by Cancelo."
Yeah,
he didn't get injured by Cancelo, but he did get injured.
Alan is the god of juju.
Like I said, you can't have him all the time.
Yeah. See,
if you had him all the time, the whole squad would be injured, isn't it? Or we'll be driving trams, as he says. The whole squad.
Yeah. But then let's move on from this. So I've seen a report today that Newcastle have put a price tag on Livramento, and they've said they want 80 million. If anyone wants him, 8 million is the price tag. Now, again, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's out there. Right. You two? Or then there's another name that's in the mixer now. Denzel Dumfries, 25 million release clause. Which one would you do? And why?
I like Dumfries as a short-term option. But City don't do short-term, do they?
No.
That's the issue. Now, they may change their policies if it means waiting down the line to get something that's a little bit more affordable than an 80 million homegrown fullback, because I just don't see City forking the money out for that. They'll have their own valuations, and I'm sure their valuations will probably be about 20 million short.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense to me. I mean, Dumfries is a good player. I think I remember he was recent. He had a pretty good game against us in the final of Istanbul. He's a respectable player.
He did. He did. You're right.
Yeah, he's a respectable player. I think he'd slot right in there. He's got a couple of fellow countrymen in Rangers and Ake there as well too. So I think it's a harmless. It's certainly a low risk, potential high reward signing as well too. Given the money you're paying for him. I mean, you talk about Kovacic sort of money, and for that sort of experience as well too in European football. I mean, to me, it's almost financially, it's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But in terms of the way the club moves, in terms of how they sign players, very in the mode of a short-term signing. So I think they may have to change their policy for that. Yeah. But again, we don't know exactly what our policies are going to be now that it's the Viana show and no longer the Cheeky show.
Yeah.
So
Big facts. I mean, someone did say something quite true in the comments earlier that Kyle Walker was barely reported of the move to Burnley. Then out of nowhere, it's done. So you know what? City might be getting their business. There might be ultimately reporters might know all, right? And actually, things might be done in the background. So it's Pete O'Rourke that has reported the Livramento, who's previously worked for Sky Sports and ESPN. So it's him that's reported that.
It's a good price, though, isn't it? It's a good price.
What 80 million for Livramento?
Yeah, because I keep telling people this, and I don't know, it was you, me, and Pat. I think we were talking like we spoke. It was the three of us. I think we said that the time when we signed Walker for 50 million years ago, right at the age of 27, people were laughing at us saying we've paid too much. But look at what Walker provided for us.
Yeah.
And we paid for Ben Mendy 52 million. And that was years ago. So you're telling me right now, a 21-year-old or 22-year-old Livramento, which is younger than both of them, we paid 80. That's a long-term investment. That's a right back for so long. What?
Pat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paddy. Could you get closer to the camera, please? I need to see your face properly.
Yeah, what's up? There you go.
Could you repeat that? No. Straight face. No smile, no nothing. Right? I'm saying. Repeat the first bit. Did you just say good price?
Yeah, good price. Yeah, it's a good price. Look. Okay, let me.
What, 80 million?
Yes, let me paint it for you. This is 2025, right? This is 2025. It's a different market. He's English, right? He's going to hit the English quota. We are adding 20 million on top of the English quota. And right now, there's not a lot of English quality players. He's one of them. You can see from the under-21s. Number two, his age. He's too young. It means you're going to have a right back for so long. I don't see why we are complaining about 80 million. If I was a City right now, go cough that 80 million. What do people want? Do you think you're going to pay 50 million for Livramento, who is that age and is English in 2025?
Bo, I get what you're saying, right? I 100% get what you're saying. But say 80 million for a fullback, in 2025 is still. I do. And by the way, I do hear what you're saying. If we ultimately, if we get now,
it makes sense compared to Kyle Walker. I get where Pat's coming from.
I do get where he's coming from. It's just to say it about 80 million for a fullback. It's ballsy at the very least.
My absolute stop on Livramento is 70, and that's 60 plus add-ons.
Like what can you do?
Add-ons that involve if we win a trophy next season or something like that.
Are you not going to have him for so long? How old is he? But I think he's 21.
Do you know what? People are backing you. I mean, do you know what? Yeah. I don't disagree with you. It's just you know what? It's one of them ones where you could clip that up, right, and put Manchester City fan says 80 million for a fullback is a good price. Yeah, it's getting clicks, bro. It's getting clicks, and people.
Yeah, but
look at these spoiled brats. But
yeah, but we're not talking about a fullback. That's not. First of all, remember English, because we're talking about he's a good English.
I know there's add-ons to it. Yeah,
it's hitting a lot of I've been saying it that give them that 80 million and walk away. It's hitting so much. And if you look at that City team, you bring Livramento, it looks good. It actually looks good.
Yeah. No, look, I do get what you're saying. Ultimately, I mean, would I rather Livramento for 80 million or Morgan Gibbs-White for 80 million? I'd rather Livramento. Sorry, bless me. But it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And then when you then look at Dumfries and you think, okay, Dumfries 25. I guess it's a bit like if you're talking Cherki 35 and Wirtz 120 or 130. It's a very similar one. And ultimately, I always say this: a player is only worth what a club is willing to pay for them. And if we were to go in and get him, and he came in and completed our defence, and we won the league, or we won a Champions League, straight away he's worth every single penny. Furthermore, if he stays at the club for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and we have ultimately, if you look at what did Kyle Walker? I think Kyle Walker won 6 leagues, right? 6 leagues, a Champions League, countless FA Cups, couple of League Cups, countless League Cups, Club World Cup, Super Cup.
Yep. Captain 4 in a row. Captain Club World Cup. Yeah.
If you go and if Livramento came in and we got that many trophies out of him, in 10 years' time, we wouldn't be going, do you know what? Because again, I've said it about Yaya and David Silva. When we signed them, even Aguero, when we signed these players, we got told, fucking hell, that even De Bruyne, it's way too much money. It's not worth that. Way, way, way too much money. But now, you're not saying that. And with Kyle Walker, when we signed him for 50 million, 50 million for a fullback, not one person is questioning the 50 million now, right? Not one person is going, oh, that was a lot of money for a fullback. Bro, it's worth every single penny. So I do hear it on Livramento. I do. Certain gentleman is in the chat. Shout out to Mr. Allen, Sir Alan Pep Mancini. You know who that is, Alan. Big love, Alan. Hope you had a good day on your birthday. And we will be catching up next week or maybe tomorrow. I'll give you a shout. Also, another super chat just quickly from Milsh. Pep has a guilty pleasure of losing to weaker teams. Listen, every manager loses to a weaker team every now and again. Right. So on that one, who would you go for then? Would you go for, or do we get both? Oh, Pat's gone. I'm sure he'll be back.
You mean Gibbs-White?
Livramento or Denzel? Or is there anyone else? Is there anyone else? That Vanderson.
Martin's been waxing lyrical about this Vanderson apparently.
Yeah, he's cold.
Haven't been able to see it a lot yet, but I think again we have to look back at what Viana might be doing.
Yeah.
In terms of how we're going about our scouting, what his intentions are in terms of how he's going to operate with players as well. And well, we haven't seen a lot of news about these certain players, like your Vandersons and your Martin Fernandes from Porto and things like that. Most of the media has been focused on what we've signed in terms of bolstering our attack, bolstering our midfield, and things like that. So you can't have news. You can't have news about everything basically. And now that we're in that stage of the transfer window now, where probably most of our business or the most important stuff's all outgoing. Sooner or later, we're going to start hearing little tidbits, coming through about potential right backs or what the club's intentions are going forward for that position. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I'm going back to Viana's going to do things a bit differently to the way Cheeky did them, and it's certainly going to be interesting to the way it's happened because we certainly haven't seen. We may not see like transfer business like this has happened to the club in a long time. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm just going to sit back and relax and see where the transfer window takes me and go from there. But I'm at the point now where I feel like we need to go into the season with more than just two quote unquote midfielders as our depth at right back.
Yeah, fact.
We need to do a bit more than that. And
absolutely,
I'm waiting to see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. For me, it's one of these ones where, for me, getting a right back is a must. Hello, Patrick, you're back. Yeah, do you know what? The thing I'd say as well... Oh, hold on, what's happened there? Oh, I need to shorten it again. The thing I would say that I think you're right on, right, is...
See, right now, seen a bit of Henderson, so he must have seen something that he thought would look good in that squad. So,
but we
get a chance, I might try and suss it out a little bit more. But
Vanderson's been everyone. I've spoke with Cass about him, and I went and watched it. He does look very good. Does look very good. But if you think about it, right, where we are right now, we're all here kind of discussing players, and we don't really know much. And if you think about it, when we were going in for Wirtz, I don't think any of us had seen any links of Manchester City and Turkey.
No.
There weren't any links, right?
No.
Pat, you're on mute. Paddy, you're on mute. There was no links of City to Turkey to the point where I was, because Man United were being linked with Turkey, I was kind of like, if we don't get Wirtz, just why am I not seeing my club being linked with Turkey? So I think we can kind of sit here and think, do you know what? Maybe we just don't know yet. And maybe in the coming weeks, we will see something. Walker's gone. I think we're probably going to have another week of, at very least, another week or two, I'd say, of it being more links with outgoing players before we start seeing any more links of incoming players. I just have that feeling. We need more offers, right? We need more. Even, I've said from the 1st of July, once PSR new financial year, we'll start seeing more movement across the whole league. There still hasn't been that much more movement, has there? What have we seen this week from other clubs?
Really. It's just the Cunha thing, but we knew Cunha's already signed. We knew Cunha.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, João Pedro, Chelsea. João Pedro.
We're waiting to get a steam now, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, we have seen one thing, though. I don't know if I have to say this, but I'm going to make sure that every stream I'm on now, I also ask people this. We have seen one thing. There's a list that UEFA has come out with of...
Yes.
Do you know what I said in the NAF? I said,
hold on.
Dabs,
Let me find it. I'm not in there.
Yeah. Do you know what I say, Dabs? I said I want that same energy. And guess what they're saying now? They're like, oh no, you guys have so much money. That's why you got away with it. You've got that DD money. That's what they called it in the group. They say that we have so much money, we got away with it. I was like, wow.
Sorry, do you want to? Have you got the list?
Yeah, it's there. The list is here. Our best friend Chelsea is there.
Hold
Leon
on.
is
Could
there.
you send it? Could you send it to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I'll share it with everyone. So everyone, let's talk on it real quick. Why not?
Yeah, there was one individual I'm waiting for from that group who every time you and me are on streams, he was asking us when our issues are coming. So I was like, "Where are you? Where are you?"
Who is that? Who is that?
Do you remember Wolfie? That's what he talks about. So I was like, Wolfie,
Yeah.
here's the list. Here's the list of cheaters as you love them.
Bro, you know what? Yeah. So, bear with me. Let me just send this to myself. There's a show from the other day, mate. Wolfie on Never Foul the other day. He unfortunately decided to try and slander City and Chelsea on the same show when there was City and Chelsea representatives on it. And
that did not end well, did it?
Yeah, it ended very badly for him. It was a muling of Wolfie, to be honest with you. He got absolutely muled to pieces, ripped apart, mauled. Sorry, and
PA28 Diddy money is crazy. Yeah, somebody said we have that Diddy money. That's why we can get her. Like, this is crazy.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just getting the list up now. Give me a second. Septal, lovely. Right, let me move this over here. Where are you? Where have you gone? Perfect. Share screen. Lovely. So, Chelsea and Aston Villa fined 27 million and 9 million. Has it got the list in it? Has it got
I sent you the other one that has the list. The one for Fab. Fab listed them down. Fab listed all the clubs down. I sent you another one.
Hold on. Yeah, you sent me another one, have you?
Yeah, so do you know what's funny, Pat? While I was arguing with people in every group, I was like, all of you, one guy posted in one of the groups, there's a lot of international fans. They always go at cities. I was like, how come none of you are talking? There's a list here. And they're like, oh, we didn't see it. And I was like, you did see it. I can see it from the list of people who have seen it. You've seen it, but I know what you were waiting for. You were just waiting to see Man City somewhere, then you were going to talk. Now you're looking at Villa. Somebody said, oh, this is so... Somebody in the group said, oh, this is so unfair on Villa.
Eidetic memory, the mind sees what it chooses to see.
I know. It's like,
somebody said... made that choice before anything else has been shown.
Somebody had the guts to say, this is unfair on Villa. I was like, wow, it's unfair. Region is unfair.
Interesting, very interesting. Right, I'm just the other one should be here now.
I was just having a look at Vanderson's stats as well too from last season. Not bad actually for a right back when you look at it.
Is he very good?
Yeah, so across 4 competitions, including Liga, Champions League, French Cup, and then some other one called Trophy de Champions or something. 41 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, and over 3,100 minutes.
That's
bad contributions for a right back.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And good defensively and going forward as well.
Yes, it looks like he's got a bit of both on him, yeah.
Chelsea 20 million, Barcelona 15 million, Lyon 12.5 million, Aston Villa 11 million, Roma 3 million. Now, this comment here, where was it? Someone had said, let me guess. Yeah, this comment's brilliant. Let me guess. The comments are going to be, what about City? Let's test that theory. City are up in there, cheating bastards.
I love that. Beat them to it, in before.
But Man City is the corrupt club. Of course. Hold on. Do you know what? So far,
so the only ones we're seeing right now are actually own City channels self-deprecating. Yeah.
There you go. What about Man City, PSG? This is a fucking joke, man. Anyway. The other thing I am gonna speak on real quick while we're here as well is something that I think for me, right? Do you two believe in coincidences?
A little bit, yeah.
See,
on the right circumstances, sure.
I believe in coincidences. I do. However, Partey's contract ran out on the 30th of June. It comes out on the 4th of June, that Partey has been charged with 5 counts, I believe it is.
Yeah. Of the R word.
Now,
leave it at that. Yep.
And this is not, first and foremost, listen, we're going through a case ourselves. We've been charged, but we have said we're not guilty. So this is not me saying, that Partey will be found out, and I feel for anyone that's been.
You're making it sound like we've been charged of R-wording the Premier League.
No.
no. I mean, as in like because you talked about it like it was in the same context.
No, but ultimately the whole thing is charged. You're innocent until proven guilty of the charge. So I'm not here saying he's guilty. What I am saying is this a coincidence that his contract ran out on the 30th of June and that the news comes out 3 or 4 days later that he's been charged? Or is this showing that ultimately football clubs are able to stop court cases from actually being proceeded with? Because this is nothing to do with football. That's not a coincidence, man. That's not a coincidence.
So are you saying it's kind of like they're allowing the contract to die down, so then he's going to go to court as a free agent, technically?
No, what I'm saying is that Arsenal,
what he's been accused of, he was an Arsenal player anyway. Like it sounds like such a stupid. It sounds such a stupid thing, but it sounds like something Arsenal would do.
What I am saying is that Arsenal have basically managed to find a way. Firstly, yes, Arsenal probably did know this, right? Secondly, Arsenal have somehow found a way to stop this from coming out and the charge being confirmed until he is no longer an Arsenal player. This is no longer Arsenal's concern, not our player, nothing to do with us, right? I'm sorry. That's not a coincidence. The fact he was wearing
an Arsenal shirt when he apparently committed these crimes. They don't make sense most of the time.
They knew. Do you remember Livramento? How long ago Livramento was done? They knew. Livramento was done way before. So they knew.
Let's be honest. Partey, the last, you know what? When Partey is fit, Partey is one of Arsenal's best players. Partey last season was one of Arsenal's best players.
He's a very good player.
They would have been offering him a contract extension, right? They would have been trying to extend his contract at the club. There's no coincidence that 3 or 4 days after his contract runs out and he's no longer an Arsenal player, that this comes out. So I am saying, look, and this is only my theory, but somehow Arsenal made this go away until he was no longer an Arsenal player. Then I don't believe in coincidences like that. Not 3-4 days. When this news came out about 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's different circumstances too. But I think when the news came out about Mendy, I think it was within about 6 months of when the crimes were actually like they were announced, or like the people that come forward with these alleged crimes, which we now know were untrue, basically. As far as with
Mendy,
yeah. But then they're saying that apparently the first of these crimes were committed in 2021. So they've been holding on to these for the best part of 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sorry. And during that 4 years, there's never really been contract extension talks. He's been running the contract down and pushing it further along the line, right? Mm. And by the way, I am going to say that because at the moment, we have gone to court. We've presented our case, and apparently the reason that we don't know the answer yet is because Manchester City are pushing things down the line. So this is not for me to judge Partey. Let me be clear as well. I'm not judging Partey. I will let the courts judge Partey and find him out. I'm not commenting on that. I'm commenting on the football side of things, and the fact that this seems way too much of a coincidence. Seems very, very bizarre.
It is. That's what I'm saying. For me, you know what? For me, when the whole news came out, I told one of my friends, I was like, he's gonna get charged. I was like, this is gonna go to court. Something's gonna go through, because I was like, why is Livramento? Because the Livramento thing was just the light. It just started way before that. Talking to Livramento, they're trying to close it. They're so desperate to close it. Remember, it was like way seasons ago. I was like, okay, Thomas Partey right now is all in fast. So is Jack right. Do you need a Livramento right now? People will be like, yeah, we do this. I was like, nah, Partey can still go on. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then
Partey's season last season was a great season.
Yeah, he was one of the best midfielders.
Yeah, facts.
I was like, oh, you're not extending his contract. There's no contract talk, and there's no talk of him going to another club. I was like, I know what's happening. Bingo. As soon as his contract is over, there it is. But the statement from us, also shows the suspicion. All the state is comment.
Yeah.
Oh, they should have said that. Look, you know how they say, "Oh, our player is going through this. we support him in this quarter. Whatever he does, it's up to him. Let him sort it out. We're giving him privacy. You know how clubs say that?
Yeah.
Him and his
The
family.
privacy
Now
thing.
they just say no, we don't want, because and then the fans are going at them. By the way, the fans are fuming. They're like, okay, so you knew all this, and then it is what it is. And then Arteta had a video also backing him, isn't it? Arteta, so it was an interview in Spanish or something. He was backing him, so it just makes things look weird. Quite funny that we were. I think we looked like the bad guys when we cut off Mendy. Remember? They told us that, he's suing you. That's the right thing. Remember, Ryan fans were saying, yeah, you deserve to be sued. But the club, I think, cut it off because they didn't want to be in a situation like this later on, like the Thomas Partey one. But it is what it is.
It's easier to pay down the line, pay what you owe than it is
when
to
you get
pay and then recoup if something happened. Yeah.
I think. Do you know what I think we saw with? Look, at the end of the day, we are a club. We think we're guilty. We're adamant we're guilty, but we are a club that are facing another court case at the moment with 115. We've got a lot of slander around our club. I think the board all know, and Paquette is the perfect example of it. We were heavily in. We'd agreed personal terms with Paquette.
Both clubs had agreed, actually. Both clubs had agreed on a deal.
The minute we saw that slander around his name, we said, no. We're not getting involved in. We don't need any more slander. Thank you very much. Keep our club away from any more slander. We can't be involved.
Look at Tonali in Newcastle.
Yeah.
AC Milan couldn't wait to get him out the door because they knew it was coming.
Yeah. Do you know the one that seems really mad to me? Just while we talk, Mudryk. What did Mudryk do? Because I swear Mudryk is out until something like 2028 or 29 or something.
Apparently it's doping.
That's right. It is doping.
It's doping. It's doping.
It's quite a long time, isn't it?
It must be serious because at first his lawyers, I think, were putting out statements, playing it out as if it's not that serious. That it's just one of those drug mistakes. Like remember the Yaya situation? Not Yaya, one of the tourists. Yeah, I remember. But they found out, and when they banned him that long, I told one of the Chelsea fans, I was like, "This must be serious. This is some serious doping for you to be banned that long."
Bro,
sometimes,
I'll be honest with you. If that was Mudryk doping, then what was he like off of drugs? If that's what happened when
he was doping. Well, he was doping, but in a different way.
Drugs made him. They weren't performance. They weren't. They definitely weren't performance. They weren't performance enhancing drugs. Not a chance in hell. They can't have been.
Yeah, his performance was not great.
When he was on it, he was doped up. When he was off it, he was doped down.
But that's 90 million down the drain for Chelsea. They just bought him.
What's 90 million to Chelsea?
Yeah.
That's the thing. People can throw mud at us about 100 million for Jack Grealish, but then we can say, what about Mudryk for 90?
Do you know what? Low-key, I don't get it, and I'm still confused. And you know what, Daps? And this brings me back to that. Look, I know we also spent, but the fact that I told you I went on the panel, right? I went on the panel, and there was a Chelsea fan, and we were talking. I think it was one of the panels I go to weekly. It was on a Monday. Yeah. Then they were talking about the fact that Chelsea are trying to build. He was saying our policy right now is rebuilding, and then the guys on the panel were twerking for Chelsea. They were like, in the end, what Chelsea is going to do is the team will gel eventually, and then they'll go. So I asked the question. I was like, why don't do it now? They're like, they're not ready. Then that's not. It says that's what we've been doing. It's been fair. I was like, no. I was like, wait. I tell you right now, you get a very good keeper. You get a defender who's a leader and more mature than some of your defenders, and then you get a mature striker. You guys are a threat. It's like, no, but we don't want to do that. Funny enough, they keep buying these Joao Pedros, Joao Felix, these first nines, Kunku that don't work. But how come Chelsea, this just goes 60 million Joao Pedro, Cucurella 60 million? We all just sit there and say, they will be ready. It's a project. How?
Do you know what? Right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. So with Chelsea, right? It is right. I'm not comparing Chelsea with City here, but with the project, Chelsea were Champions League winners, right? And everything happened with their previous owner, yeah. And that caused a lot of mayhem. Brought in new owners. New owners that I think are learning on the job. They fell out of the Champions League straight away. But now they're back in the Champions League. And they've just won, I think probably, was it their first trophy since the Champions League? I'm pretty certain it was.
Yeah,
Am I right?
Yeah, Conference
They've
League.
they've just won the first trophy since the Conference League.
And they've been to many finals by the FA Cups, Carver Cups.
Yeah.
So.
But you could say that, you know what, they have rebuilt and they've got back to, they're not back to where they were, but they're on the way back. So there could be an argument that Chelsea's rebuild is working better than Arsenal's.
Here's a question we should throw at Chelsea fans. Who's been a worse signing for them, Mudryk or Lukaku?
It's got to be Mudryk. It's got to be Mudryk.
Lukaku at this bagged. You know,
but when Lukaku got there, he was on fire at first.
Yeah, well, the only thing too is you got to look at salary because now that Mudryk's been done for doping, they don't have to pay his salary.
Yeah,
Lukaku, they continued having to pay his salary while he was still being loaned out to Italy every single season.
But then you could say, if you were to look at it, for how much they bought Lukaku for in the first place, the first time, and then how much they got when they sold him, right?
Yeah.
Could that balance out? I don't know. Lukaku, when he first came in, if we're talking cost, Lukaku, but I think Lukaku also did have his moments for Chelsea. So I don't know. I think Lukaku is an interesting character, even as a footballer, because he does score goals. The truth of the matter is the guy's a goal scorer. So, right. Anyway, so let's just touch on, just to wrap up now, people, please make sure you are smashing those like buttons, whether you're on watch back or whether you're watching it live. The likes are on 170. If we could get them up, there's over 270 of you in here. If I can find another 28 of you to like the video and get us up to 200 before the show ends, that would be great. Just to touch on what we spoke on, Kyle Walker will give our farewells. I believe there is a statement from Manchester City out now. So we'll go and read that, and I'm sure it's paying their respects to everything that Kyle Walker's done. So Walker's off to Burnley. We spoke on Nico Gonzalez. There are rumours that Nico Gonzalez, Manchester City would not only consider an offer for him, they've also put in the feelers out to intermediaries to speak to other clubs, to speak to clubs across Europe and Saudi Arabia. One thing I would say is, if there is any truth in that, Nico Gonzalez, do not go to Saudi Arabia, right? Go back to Spain. Go back to Spain. Don't go to Saudi Arabia. But listen, if you want the money, go Saudi Arabia. I hope he stays. I hope he gets given a chance. The outlet that has reported that also writes for a Liverpool outlet. So how much truth there is in that, we don't know. The other thing is Livramento. Apparently, Newcastle have said 80 million is the price tag.
Good
if
price.
You want him.
Yep.
Take it or leave it.
Paddy has confirmed it's a good price, and we've agreed with that. And finally, Denzel Dumfries is available. Oh, did you not agree? It was a good price.
No, I said 70 at the absolute limit, and that would be 60 plus 10 add-ons.
I'd pay whatever we have to pay to get him.
So you'd also pay. So you'd also pay. Oh, so you'd even pay more than 80.
Nah. 80
said whatever.
I'd stop. Do you know what? The mad thing is, would I pay? Look, do we need him a lot? I think we do need him, but I'd probably stop with 80.
Can I ask something? Can I ask something to the panel? We had this discussion, and I was laughing as I was looking at the change in tone. Okay, so this is what I said, Pat and Daps. I said, I think it started with Corner Guy. Somebody we were talking about. It was actually Martin. Martin, you know how Martin always says, you guys love the fancy names. That's why the fancy names like Baleba, because we were talking about Baleba in the comments.
Right,
saying, let's get Baleba and this and that. So I said, I was like, can we stop with these techie footballers? I would rather go for pace, power and pace, as you guys laugh at power and pace. And I was like, Conor Gallagher would actually help us in the City team, and people laughed at me. I was like, let me say something. Right now, Man City fans, right? They are crying over saying, oh, we have so many technical players, but they're not good without the ball. So, you know, like somebody like a Fernandinho who will run and somebody who's a bully. I was like, why were we all denying Morgan Gibbs-White? Because I think Gibbs-White now stops those counters when he's in midfield. He runs back and tracks back. So looking at all that, do you think Morgan Gibbs-White was never a bad shout? It's just that he wasn't a sexy name, as Martin says. Because thinking about it, we keep complaining now, saying Pep likes playing these sort of technical players who are not good at running. Then we say, oh, we need pace and power. Some people are agreeing that, yes, now we need pace and power in this team. So maybe Pep's madness of Morgan Gibbs-White was right. He said, I'll bring a Gibbs-White who run for me all day, stop these transitions. So
what?
And Martin said before the tournament, before the Club World Cup, he said, don't rest on Gibbs-White. There may still be a possibility they might go in and have a look.
Right. So in that case, do you think that would be if Nico Gonzalez was to go, right, to answer the homegrown, get rid of Nico Gonzalez, go in for Morgan Gibbs-White?
I see. Still add Gibbs-White. You still add him.
No, I think you still need to get several, at least a couple of names, about 3 or 4 names out the door in the whole squad before you bring anyone in, let alone Gibbs-White. And I think it's important to get Gibbs-White in because if Pep's intention is to use him as the quote-unquote engine midfielder like Bernardo, there's absolutely no harm in bringing him in a season before we know Bernardo's out the door.
Because you do get rid of Kovacic. Let's say get rid of Kovacic, you get rid of Gundogan. I still look at that midfield saying there's still space for somebody who can do a job. Just space for somebody.
I don't know, Pat. I still think I'm at a point right now where I think in terms of any signings, for every one we bring in, I think there has to be about 2 or 3 out the door.
Yeah.
Because you've got to get it down to not just to 25, but what Pep wants to work with. And that is usually about 22 to 23.
Yeah. Defenders have to go, though, isn't it? There's too many defenders. Too many.
It is possible, yeah.
Look, if we go and get... If we were to go and get Morgan Gibbs-White, right? And I'm not giving my opinion on that. But if we go and get Morgan Gibbs-White, then, I mean, it's already looking like maybe Nico Gonzalez might be considering wanting to leave. Whether we don't know if it's true or false, right? But if it is true that he's kind of been the one that said, game time's an issue. If we go and get Morgan Gibbs-White, then Nico Gonzalez will want to leave.
Oh, do you think so? Can I ask you something? What about this Rico contract? Rico's contract is still 2028. What's going on with the Rico upgrade rate?
So just one thing I've just come back to my head reading. When Nico Gonzalez joined Manchester City, I remember reading that, his dad used to be a coach at Manchester City. And his dad said, that he has always... So JMCFC, he's had meetings with club and he's got concerns. That's what you report. And I don't know what your outlet is. It's probably the same as ours. But listen, I know it's yourself that emails me. So in your next email, and I do appreciate the emails, by the way, in your next email to me, could you tell me, are all the information that you get, is it from the internet or are you an ITK? Do you know someone that's given you this information? Just so that I know, because it would be good to know that. But I do remember seeing his dad wanted him to join, said to him at one point, I want you to go to England and the club for you over there is Manchester City. I think his dad would still be in his ear saying to him, kind of, give it a chance. Because if his dad was so keen, and I don't know, man, but I just think, right, as for Rico Lewis...
What do you think they're thinking? What's the thinking behind that? That means that we're not getting the right back. What is he going to happen? Why are they boosting him? Is somebody after him? Because his contract is on 2028. So why are you giving him a boost? That means you're trying to avoid him from going somewhere. Or somebody
he's only on sort of like the minimum salary right now for a senior player. I think he's only on about 40k a week.
Yeah.
So you could boost him up to 80k a week if you wanted to, and it wouldn't necessarily affect your wage bill in a way too.
Look,
so I think for a fact they want to keep him. They want to protect him because he guarantees a spot sooner or later. He guarantees a spot in terms of the homegrown quota. Also, too, just by the way he sort of handles himself around that clubhouse, I don't think he's too concerned about the minutes he gets, because one thing we forget about Rico is that we're only about 2 or 3 seasons removed from when he made his debut.
Yeah.
And
he made it so young.
He's still only 20.
And he never played a single minute in the under-23s. He came straight from the under-18s. That is a huge jump. Yeah. And when you do a jump like that, a player like that needs all the time in the world to develop.
Yeah. I think this is a thing that we can't put. It's very easy to put Rico Lewis kind of on the, do you know what? put him on the same bracket as McAtee, where do you know what? He's had his chance and he's not good enough. The difference is he's 20 years old, right? And that is it. And Jimmy James Computers, he's garbage. Bro, he's a central midfielder that has been playing right back and left back. Yeah. I still stand by the fact that he is a midfielder. He should be given time. I feel like it could be that maybe we do want to loan him out, right? But loaning a player out with 2 years left on their contract is dangerous, because if he does go out and does set it alight wherever he goes, because I think Rico Lewis as a midfielder is good enough to play at a Premier League level already, right now, at the age of 20, right? Do I think he's good enough to play for Manchester City in the midfield role at the age of 20? No, I don't, right? Could he go to a different team a bit lower down in the league and play Premier League level football? Yes, I do. Now, if he was to go there and set it alight and look really good with 1 year left on his contract, you're at risk of losing him on a free, right? And the last thing you ever want to do with a homegrown player that has come through your academy is lose them on a free. Because if Rico Lewis was to go for even 15 million, that is 15 million profit, right? Because he's come through our academy. You cannot let those type of players go on a free. So I think the contract might be a longer term contract so that City can then maybe loan him out.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe that is true. To be honest with you, I don't know about you guys. I'm always interested in the youth team, right? But I'm looking towards is it Doyle? I want to see what we do with Doyle. I always thought he would play for City one day. Yeah, but because I like him. Wherever he goes, he becomes a star. He becomes the best, one of the best players in the team. I'd like to see how that goes. I want to see how what's that guy? Is it Mamadou? Remember Mamadou, who got injured after preseason?
Yeah,
he went out on loan. I want to see how Mamadou goes, if they're going to sell him or keep him. I think Mamadou is very talented. I just also want to see what they're going to do with that youth team, but also what they're going to do with some of these players, especially the defenders. I really want to see if Stones is staying, because Stones says he wants to stay. If John Stones stays, what does that say for Victor? Is a lot of people, even Martin said the other day, that he thinks they're really looking at Victor as the ball-playing defender who goes into midfield. Let's not forget the article came out that City wanted him as the defensive midfielder, wanted him to play the EDS, the defensive midfielder, but they needed him because of those injuries. I am so just intrigued. Yeah, Simpson, Posey,
he's another one. Yeah.
He wants to go. He made it.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, just this one. Sorry, Yamal is 17, right?
Yamal.
Bro, do you know what? I can't stand these type of comments because when you're talking about a player's age, right? Oh, that is a baby wasp, but you can still die. Sorry. Rest in peace.
Welcome to the South Stand, the only place you'll see a wasp being killed with a mask.
Yeah.
Hold on. It wasn't me, it was a panda. Anyway,
those wasp eating pandas, you gotta be careful.
The reason why I don't like these comments, right, is we're talking about, a player's age, and this whole thing of a player's age doesn't matter, right? And then you come up with an example. In any walk of life, you can come up with an example, right? Leicester won the league from the previous season fighting relegation, right? But you don't set that as a benchmark, right? You can't go, well, Yamal is generational, right? Yamal is an extreme talent. You can't then say, well, no, if Yamal's good enough at 17, everyone should be good enough at 17. Take Ian Wright as an example. What age did he actually become a pro? Take Jamie Vardy as an example. What age did he become a pro? You can't always use one-offs as examples because there's a reason why they're one-offs, right? There's a reason why Yamal is probably going to flip in. Well, Yamal's probably already got a release clause of $1 billion, right? We're not claiming Rico Lewis is that player. What we're saying is Rico Lewis and just discussing his contract. I'm not even here saying that that Rico Lewis is a starter at this point at City. I'm not trying to argue that. But what I am saying is the reason why he might get the contract. That's all the conversation is. Oh, God.
Yeah, anyway. That is true. Everybody keeps saying Yamal. Yamal is...
Yeah. Yamal. The benchmarks on everything.
You know what? Very, very soon, everybody will be saying Echeverry. I'm still on that. Everybody will be giving...
We're lucky that injury is not long. I think he's probably going to be back in training by... Yeah, I think he will be coming back, won't he, when everyone else comes back. But right, we are going to leave it here and move on. we'll be running a show probably tomorrow morning, unless there's absolutely no news, because I'm not going to do a show for the sake of it. Patrick, you got anything? Paddy, you got anything coming up today?
Is that me?
Your Paddy, remember?
Oh
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah, you're Paddy. You
No. Yeah, I might do a show at 4:00. I have Matthias, one of the City fans, who's requested to come on my show. He already sent me a PDF of everything he wants to talk about. I was like, okay, I'll give you the spotlight to talk.
Okay.
It was interesting. And to be honest with you, his PDF was interesting. You know how when people are criticizing, like when people are giving feedback towards Pep or the players, they never give you reasons. This fella has got productive, proper breakdowns and examples of what he sees maybe going for. I was like, oh, well done. I'm not gonna do that. You do it yourself. Then he's like, 4:00 after work, I'll be there. I was like, grand, I'll give you the camera and just sit in the background drinking tea. Yeah, so that'll be 4:00. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And anything coming up? Well, you're probably off on your holidays soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm off on Wednesday, so probably won't be any Blues Down Under. Martin might have something planned between now and say Tuesday and that, but yeah, Blues Down Under will probably be on hold for at least a week. Keep an eye out for that. Yeah, Mancunian Way, you guys know where to find us. Yeah, we'll keep you up to date over the coming days if there's any shows, but yeah, Wednesday, looking forward to getting on the jet plane again, heading over to, gradually making my way over to Manchester, but at this stage, should be making a stop for a few days in Dubai and a few days in Barcelona before Oasis at Eaton Park. We can't wait, and of course, looking forward to catching up with you, Daps, as well. And
yeah. I'll be up there. Unfortunately, I won't be at Oasis though, unless I somehow stumble across a ticket. Right, people. Everyone, have a good Saturday. Spend time with your loved ones. Enjoy spending time with everyone in your life. Don't take anyone for granted. And as I say, we'll either be back tomorrow or I will see you Monday morning. If you want to drop a comment after the video has ended, please do so. Actually, do you know what? Let me be nice. We should redirect somebody, shouldn't we? Let's see who is live. Who is live that we know?
Isn't LB live?
Is he live? Let's have a look.
LB's live every hour.
Is it?
He's live within half an hour of somebody else starting the show.
Let's have a look. Fan Zone. Right, people. Fan Zone are live. These are my good friends. One's an Arsenal fan, one is a Liverpool fan. They're discussing the party charge. So people go over there. In fact, I'm going to ask for the link and I'm going to go over and join them. So people, please go over there. As soon as you get over there, put South Stand Raid in the comments, and I will see you.
Put Buddy Hard in the comments.
No, don't do that. Put South Stand Raid in the comments. Until then,
it's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.